bright moments that I have in this job is to have and spend time with Bill Junk. Y'all don't know, but we made Jimmy eggs up there on class in our meeting place. Many, many mornings, about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, the two of us get together. He always likes to pay. That's why I always keep coming back. But Bill, it is a joy to have you here as our president of the Oklahoma United Methodist Foundation. He brings his report. Let's welcome Bill Junk because they do so much for this annual conference. Bill.
Bishop Hayes, I have to start with an apology. Even though I kept this all to myself, I didn't say anything out loud. I thought for the last 2 days you've been asleep up here. But then I realized there's a monitor down here you're looking at, and it just looks like your eyes are closed. At least that's your story, right? Well, coming up on the screen, these are my two youngest little girls that you see. We adopted them from China several years ago. I was looking out in the audience to see if they made it here, and I don't see them, but aren't they beautiful? I love to show them off, not just because I'm a proud papa, but because of what they represent to us. Isn't adoption the perfect picture of how God welcomes us into His family? These children are huge blessings to our family and to our world. It's really hard to imagine life without them, even though it's been life-changing for all of us. Now, they don't have anything to do with my report, but I just knew you'd want to see them, so. Well, Bishop Hayes and members of the annual conference, the foundation is a partner and a resource to the local church. Let me say that again. The foundation is a partner and a resource to the local church. Our purpose lies in your presence and dedication to the future of our United Methodist Church. At the foundation, we've asked ourselves the question, if the foundation grows larger and stronger, yet the church grows weaker and smaller, have we succeeded? And the clear answer to that is no, we haven't. We know we're called to help the local church and all of our ministries that we do together. We want to help all the ministries become more vital, strong, and relevant to the world in which we live. That's why we provide services in the areas of church stewardship, growth and building consultation, personal financial management, endowment formation and promotion, as well as funds management and planned giving. Please let us serve you and your church in this way. We're pleased to report the success of our EQUIP program. It was 2 years ago at this very microphone that I introduced this concept to the annual conference. After that, we began rolling out the program, and today I'm happy to report 100 classes of Financial Peace University were offered in our United Methodist churches in Oklahoma in the last year. Now that, folks, is 1,000 families that took the course. These are real families whose lives are changed for the better. We have no doubt. And you should hear some of the testimonies. Ask Judy Benson, if you get a minute, the effect it's had on her church in Frederick. We believe this program helps people in a very important area of discipleship, as we're encouraged to do in the parable of the talents. We need to get a hold of our money. We need to know how to manage it as God directs us to. So if your church is not one of the 100 that has launched this program, you have to know there are members of your congregation as well as numbers of people in your community that are drowning in debt. They're living paycheck to paycheck or just simply struggling to make ends meet. There's no reason for this to be so prevalent in this, the wealthiest nation the earth has ever known. Let me encourage you to introduce this program to your church. Take it home. Visit our booth upstairs for more information. And we always like giving stuff away. You have a chance to register for a free Financial Peace University Leaders Kit, which is a $250 value we'll be giving away at the end of conference. So please stop by our booth. A reminder, it's been said this week we're hosting Stewardship Focus Day in conjunction with the Board of Laity. That'll be on August 26th here in Oklahoma City at Church of the Servant. Our guest speaker will be Cliff Christopher. He's the author of Not Your Parents' Offering Plate, as well as the follow-up to that book, Whose Offering Plate Is It? We know this will be a valuable day for your church. Cliff will bring useful information and tips on improving stewardship in your church. Visit our booth again for some more information about this. Registration will be $60 a person, but if you register at conference at our booth before you leave, it'll only be $35. So take advantage of that, if you would. Hopefully you picked up a copy of the Foundation's annual report when you gathered your materials. The cover reads Hope. Nearly everything the Foundation does centers around this central theme of hope. Hope for our next generation, hope in the difference we make through ministry, and hope that lives are changed through Jesus Christ. I hope you'll take a little time to read the stories of hope in this year's report. Bishop Hayes, it's a great privilege to be part of the Foundation, and I've done it now for nearly 23 years. But in all the years of the Foundation's existence, and we were chartered in 1944, until now, we've never had a clergy chairperson of our Board of Trustees. So I'm honored today to present to you and turn the podium over to our new chairman, someone who needs no introduction, and that's Dr. Bob Long.
For those who've been around downtown Oklahoma City for a while, you know that back in the late 60s and 70s and the 80s, it was a tough time. We had urban renewal. We tore down all of our buildings downtown and then had no money to build them back. And then there was busing. And then there was the oil bust. And then we had the failure of Penn Square Bank. One thing after another. It was tough. And people fled downtown and went to the suburbs. That made a hard time for St. Luke's. It was during that time in 1974, Dr. Irving Smith was the pastor, and he began working with our laity to say, why don't we create an endowment, a foundation, to raise money to help take care of our facility. That was carried on by Dr. Wayne Coffin, and they really asked Reverend Dr. Joe Shackford to carry that program out. And working with our laity, they began to raise money and to create this foundation. I can tell you that during the 70s and early 80s, it didn't do a whole lot for the church. They were busy trying to raise some money. But when I came in June of 1991, I can tell you by then the foundation was making a huge difference in the life of our church. By June of 1991, our facility was 40 years old. We needed money to try to fix the roof. We needed money to fix the air conditioning. We still need money to fix the air conditioning. It enabled us to do so many things to help take care of the facility. In fact, the amount of money we got from the foundation every year was greater than the total amount of money we had in the budget for programming. And I couldn't help but look at that and think, if we didn't have a foundation, I would have to take all the money that we're using on programming just to try to keep the rain out and the lights on and to keep the air conditioning fixed. Let me tell you, I don't know what would have happened to St. Luke's. It was because of the people back in the 1970s who had a vision and were willing to plant seeds that we had a chance. And I can tell you that today we look back on those people, and at St. Luke's we talk about the saints on whose shoulders we stand. We have not forgotten those people. Irving Smith was remembered today in our memorial service. Wayne Coffin, Joe Shackford. I look back and I think, without those people, we'd be in serious trouble. They made a huge difference. Well, let me tell you, a foundation is not just for the big churches. It's for all churches. I have a feeling there's a lot of churches who are struggling with deferred maintenance. How many of us have facilities that are aging? We have programs that we want to underwrite and do, and yet we don't have enough money to carry out those ministries. The good news is, you too can have a foundation. We are your foundation. The Oklahoma United Methodist Foundation is yours. All it takes is a phone call. We have staff who will come to your church. They will talk to your people. They will help to raise the money. We will manage your money. All you have to do then is receive the interest. You get the money back so that you can then do ministry and fix your facility, whatever you decide. You have a foundation who is ready to serve you. Now, I want to be honest with you today, though. Pastors, those of you who are leaders from the laity here today, if you went back today and you started to do this, you're not going to see much benefit while you're serving your church. You probably won't get a lot of benefit out of it. But let me tell you something. 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now, there will be people in your church who will remember you. 20 years from now, 40 years from now, they will look back to you, and when you made this decision, and they will give thanks. They will look back and they will call you the saints on whose shoulders we stand. I pray that you will have the courage and the selflessness to make the decision to do something now. If you do, you will build a bridge to the future. And that future will look bright. We are here to help you. Just give us a call. Thank you.
Bill?
Unless you want to see some home movies of my kids, that concludes our
All
report.
right.
Thank you.